Rasmussen. Today we're going to be discussing designing Americans with Disabilities Act compliant websites. So, this presentation is primarily for writers, teachers, administrators, and other persons that will be dealing with creating or designing documents or websites that will be used by people with disabilities. It's also for persons with disabilities and any other person that would like to know more about this specific topic. In this presentation, I'm going to do a brief overview of the ADA and why websites care about it, and I'm going to briefly explain parts of the Web Content Accessibility Guideline. So the ADA, what is it? It was became a law in 1990, and its primary purpose is to enable people with disabilities to be able to do the same things as people without disabilities, and to protect their rights as citizens, and to create a fair and level playing field for all people. There are 5 titles to the Americans with Disabilities Act. For websites, we only really care about Title III because it deals with public accommodations and services from private entities. And this is going to be a lot of the public spaces that people are in. And it prohibits discrimination and expects reasonable modifications for people with disabilities to be able to do things, and it also expects there to be a way for people with disabilities to be able to communicate. And the justice system has determined that websites and such domains are a public space, and so there has to be ways for us to provide reasonable modifications and ways for communication for all people. There's a lot of gray area when it comes to what has to be done and what is and isn't acceptable. And this is why we have the Web Content Accessibility Guideline. It has 4 main parts to it. The information has to be perceivable. You have to be able to find it, and it can't just be like hidden. It has to be, people have to be able to find the information. And it also has, your website needs to be operable or document. It has to be operable. You need to be able to move through it and navigate the website or the document. With general ease. And all the operations and navigation needs to be something that persons would be able to do through the use of technologies for people dealing with disabilities. The information also has to be understandable, and also the operability has to be an understandable way that makes sense and that people with disabilities would be able to understand. The information must also be robust so that it is clear enough that people with many different backgrounds will be able to understand. So we're just going to go back through everything that we've gone through. The ADA is there to protect and enable persons with disabilities, and under Title III compliance, websites are public places, and so we have to accommodate for all people. And we use the Web Content Accessibility Guideline to be able to do this. We need it to be perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. An easy way to remember those words is through the acronym POUR, because you're pouring a lot into it to make sure it's good for everybody. And this last slide here just has some sources and some places to look and find more information. Thank you for listening.